Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Raizwe Stormcraft. We're going to be bringing you a blog today. We've been busy as heck, so it's coming a little later. But today, this blog is going to be about a little bit of ranting, a little bit of here so, there so, and stuff. So, the first thing I want to focus on, yes, I have a cheat sheet. So does he.
Yes, I do.
Is me getting back into recording. Since I was able to move to this place, and I've been able to get my life straightened out somewhat. I'm not quite there yet, but this gentleman here has helped me with the game system. That's what we've been playing Call of Duty on. That's what you watched the video with. And then we have this here, which I've been able to now upload when we're over here and be able to edit.
And not have to run across to my mother's house, which is just a little ways away, but it just makes it more convenient if we have it in my own home and we can do all the stuff right here.
This beautiful, beautiful computer.
Yes. I told him, if we're going to do it right, let's just get the
right stuff.
Get the best equipment we can for what we can afford and go from there. And by the way, my name is David Sullivan, a.k.a. Doghouse David.
He's the one that I've been playing Call of Duty with. Going to be playing Borderlands with. You'll see that video probably later on. Let's see here. Anything else I'm playing?
Dirt racing. Borderlands 2.
I already mentioned that.
Call of Duty. Resident Evil 5.
Well, we can figure that
one out. We can figure that one out, yeah. And I'm not a big gamer person, so I really don't even own my own systems like the Xbox, the PlayStations. I always bought them for either other people or my ex-wife, who was always into gaming. I bought her those while I was on the road. So it was best just to have her have them than I have them. I just didn't have the time at the time to play them.
And also, with me getting back into recording, I'm going to be trying to at least bring you a few videos a week, if I can do so. But sometimes we get a bit busy with everything outside.
Yes.
But the first thing I'm going to get into is a little bit of a video game rant. Like, with certain things that I've had to deal with. We still have hackers out there, folks. We're probably always going to have them out there. We still got those people in Call of Duty that like to sit there, shoot up in the sky, and get 75 kills and no deaths, and nobody else gets a kill at all. You still have those hackers that want to say, well, I'm going to fry your system if you don't do this, that, and the third thing. Okay. So do I have to get FBI involved? Because that's harassment over basically the internet.
Correct. Terroristic threatening now is what they call it, and doing it over the internet is a major no-no.
Now, you see, if people would think about it this way, one, if somebody hacks a video game, you can call the police on them because they are hacking. Yeah, they can't do nothing about it. They'd have to call the other states and tell them, hey, look, this person's doing this stuff. We need to get it figured out. But here's the thing. Do you know that Amazon and places that create controllers have mods where they can add buttons onto your controller for those mods? Infinite ammo, infinite health, invisibility. They have all these mods on their controllers.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I didn't know. That is interesting because I, for one, what little video games I have played with my family members or friends, it just drives me nuts to see someone that can literally, especially like Call of Duty, I've watched people be able to jump way up in the sky,
or fly,
or go through buildings, which we know in reality is not true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fair to those that want to play the game legitimately and be legal and use it as an experience as if you're doing it for having a fun time. Hackers take the fun out of it and makes people don't want to play. And that's where I went with some of these because I was like, I'm at the point of why should I buy a game system and no one can play it fairly? Always have to cheat
Exactly.
in order to get an advantage over somebody so you can say, ha ha ha, well, I shot you X amount of times. Well, if you wouldn't have hacked, you wouldn't have got there.
And here's my subtle point on this ordeal. If you hackers were any good at video games, I mean any good, you wouldn't have to hack.
Nope. Not at all.
And I'm sorry I will say this, but shots fired back. Learn to play a video game instead of sitting behind a computer screen modding everything. But anyway, getting off that video game topic, now we're going to start getting into things that we like and don't like. But first, you told me a little story about you having a Chevy Impala, and this is for people that have one that don't know what to do when something catches.
Yes, I'm going to make this just short and quick. If you have anywhere from an 05 to 07 Chevy Impala, and you have issues with your shifter not coming out of park and going into drive or reverse, or you go somewhere and you put it in the park, go inside, come back out, and it don't move, don't panic. My fiance and I had this done. We were over in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Big Lots. Went in, got our stuff, come back out, hit the key, went to shift it, would not go. I had my father pick us up. It was late at night. Had our father pick us up, and on the way heading to getting on the freeway, I realized, hey, wait a minute, maybe somebody else has this problem. Go to YouTube and check it out. So I did. I looked it up on YouTube and found their answer. And all it was, for those that don't know, there's a button underneath all the plastic that surrounds it. If you go on the right side of the center console, pull it up a little bit, and slide your hand under there, and there's a button. You can push that button in while somebody gets in the driver's seat, pushes on the brake, and pulls it into reverse, and then you can up and go. You can use any of the gears, but if you happen to put it back in park, you're going to have to go through the same steps. So you can either take it to a mechanic or you can take it home. But just remember that you must have somebody with you who can get in the car, push the brake, and put it in gear while you hold that button for it to release it so you can get it into gear so you can get somewhere. Yeah. But just keep in mind that it will lock again if you lock. Reason why, there's a small wire that runs off of the shifter to the solenoid that allows it, when you press the brake, to release the shifter. And what happens is that gets caught on a bolt and it pulls the wire loose. Once it does that, you have no usage of the shifter. It's a quick, easy fix. 4 bolts in the little tray in the center console. Take that out. Take the center console part, a piece of wire, and a connector will save you $300 like they wanted at the dealership. Me and my father did it in 5 minutes. It saved us $325.
Damn.
So.
But also, keeping on topic about vehicles, the one thing that I've noticed on the road a lot, as you and I have been going to Nashville a lot and everything else, that not a lot of people will sit there on the roads and give truckers the respect that they deserve. Because without people like him, he drove truck for how long?
I drove truck for 9 years in California.
Without them, they would not get, we would not get the stuff we have in the stores. Like, us gamers right here. We're our video game systems. We wouldn't be able to get them without them. Food. How does food get places? Truckers.
Yeah, if you're the people that like General Mills products, and you want to go to your local Walmart, Food for Less, whatever you get your groceries at, that has those products, us truck drivers are the ones that deliver it. I hauled General Mills for 5 years, And it's just amazing how people don't respect truck drivers when they're hauling the food that they want.
I forgot to plug one thing in. I noticed it right now. It's staring me right in the face. Plus, if I can put this little segue in, without these truckers right here, we wouldn't have stuff like this little beauty.
How did that get to the store? A truck driver.
And $25 later, it's in our house.
If you have a Xbox One, this is a great product to get. It's a charging port that comes with the batteries to the
2 batteries, 2 charging stations. It's all right there on the back, as you can see. And down here, right here, if this is red, that means your controller is not fully charged. If it's green like this, your controller is fully charged.
Yeah. Once your battery goes down, it will turn to red. Once you put your controller on the station, it will stay red until it's fully charged, and then it'll go to green.
And now we know a lot of you people out there are heavy gamers. You already probably know about that, but this is aimed for the people that are low budget, don't have a lot going right now,
and don't want to sit there and spend the buku bucks on the batteries to put in them. Oh, I have 2 batteries, got to get some more. This here is a great system. We've owned this for about 2 weeks now, and we use it all the time with our gaming system. On the TV screens, it shows the little battery of how much battery life is on the pack, so that when it's depleted, you can put it onto the charging station, and it'll charge it right up. $25, Pete. It's worth it.
If anyone heard that little thing, there's a 1.5-year-old out there either having fun or doing something. I don't know. But he's got Nana and Auntie are out there. All right. Now getting off that topic, now starts the little pet peeves. But I will state this, and it's going to be my first biggest pet peeve, then I'll let him get into some of his, because his do make quite a bit of sense. My biggest pet peeve, and you brought this up in the one we tried to record, is bullies.
Yes.
That is by far my biggest one, because, I mean, as you can clearly tell, I'm not a skinny person, okay? I'm big. This is a 3X shirt. I was a 5X. I've gone from a 5X to a 3X in shirts. I've gone from a 50 in pants down to a 42.
Ow. That's what everybody would probably want to know, including myself.
Walking.
Exercise.
I walk everywhere I go. That's the only way I can get anywhere. I don't have a license. I don't have constant people saying, "Hey, we'll take you somewhere."
That's
until
correct.
I got here.
Yep.
But it was basically me walking all over the place. I had to go places to get what I wanted, and there were some times where I would want like stuff like this, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get up. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to go for a walk. So guess what? This also stayed out of my system that day, and I had to either drink water or Kool-Aid. But see, when you're walking around all the time, people at school don't notice that. What they see is, you've got a big belly. No one's going to want to date you. No one's going to want to do this. No one's going to want to do that.
You're fat. Oh, you're disgusting.
Exactly.
You don't eat healthy.
And then when you look at it from my perspective, it's just like, this is all that led from me being a skinny person in school. I kind of got my hands over here.
Apologize. We do have a very, very tight space.
Because we're in an office.
We're in my office, and so, yeah, it's a little bit tight. But, hey, we'll get through it.
Very skinny person to constantly being bullied and picked on because I have something wrong with my teeth. And that caused me to eat and eat and eat, and I grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And basically, I cannot get myself to go again. I'm trying, but it'll take a while. But also another thing toward bullies and all that stuff, I had to quit school because of them. And what was for me was a bully made a Facebook page about a very good friend of mine saying that she liked to do a whole bunch of things to herself, that different people were her boyfriend, posting her school ID picture that's supposed to be locked away in the schools. School ID picture. Schools, what are you doing? Are you even focusing on the bullies?
No.
Happy you do. But I don't even want to say happy you do. About 25% of you kind of do. And the other 75% haven't even caught up yet. But you see, you got bullies on the internet. You got bullies on video games. You got bullies in schools. You got bullies out there in real life, in the real world. You can just walk by someone like, oh, isn't he a badass? And it's just like, you're sitting there and you go from having the happiest day of your life, climb, to all of a sudden, that's me. Like, I suffer with severe depression, bipolar, and anxiety. Every day of my life is a struggle. I have no health insurance because, hey, we're in America, land of the free and the home of the depraved.
Yes. Correct.
And where you have to kiss the right asses to get anywhere in life.
Yeah. If you want something, you don't get it handed on a gold platter. You got to work for it. But being a bully, all it does is you are mentally abusing the person, and eventually it will lead to physical abuse.
Whether it be from the bully themselves or from the person doing it to themselves.
Because you are pushing them that way.
I don't know. I used to be a cutter.
I've seen people in school, when I was going to high school, others picking on people because of their size. Okay? Yeah, you guys may have grown up skinny, be born that way, but be glad you were born skinny and weren't fat, because then you would be getting picked on.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone's born skinny. It's just the fact that when you grow up, you like certain things. And plus, nowadays, with people picking on people because they're fat, you got to realize, too, everything skinny out there in the world costs $7, $8, $9. All this skinny stuff like hamburgers, cheeseburgers, chicken, and all that stuff costs anywhere from $6 on down.
Correct.
You can go to McDonald's right now and get a double cheeseburger for $1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've actually looked up, we planned a meal. When we looked up what it would cost for a healthy meal versus a non-healthy meal, and the dollar figures are just astronomically blown out of proportion versus good versus bad. You got the doctors saying, oh, you have to eat healthy in order to keep your body healthy.
I'd be telling the doctors, are you going to pay for my food?
Yeah, do you want to pump out $13 for a healthy meal? Or, hey, can I run down to Burger King and get me a flopping Whopper and a Coke and a drink for $6?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has money in their pocket like that. Mm-hmm. If so, bring the cost of the healthy food down. You guys pick on truck drivers that are, might be overweight. Well, that's because when you're driving truck and you're trying to find a healthy place to stop, you can't get to them because they put no trucking parking. And
they'd rather have
all they have by the freeways so they can get in, get out, unless you go to a truck stop. It's fast food. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell.
You have to physically go to a truck stop, and if you want to eat at a fancy restaurant or a healthy eating place, you have to go there, either unhook your truck and then drive away, or two, leave your truck there, call a cab to come pick you up, take you over there, and guess what? Call a cab, go back.
And pray they have food at the truck stop. Not all of them have food.
Most of them just either have like candy bars or energy drinks and all that to keep the trucker awake so they can get from point A to point B.
Yeah. But nowadays, a lot of the truck stops have gone to adding restaurants to their places, whether it be Subway, Wendy's, Denny's.
Like the one we passed over, that was McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah, there are now more food places in truck stops than there was way back when I started driving.
Yeah. But that also is just the whole, that's one of the pet peeves I've had, but it's just between that and hackers and all that stuff, bullies make the world no fun. Like, we're always going to have bullies in the world, just like we're always going to have feuding. You can't escape it no matter what you do. But the fact of the matter is you have to focus on being a human being first, and then focus on being what you want to be second.
Yep.
You want to start on your pet peeves? Yeah. I'm
going to touch one quick subject on his bullying. The only way we're going to get bullying to stop is if everybody starts standing up to the bullies. And that goes for teachers, law enforcement. However we can do it, we need to get the bullying stopped before we have more people hang themselves, shoot themselves, commit suicide because they're being pushed too far.
And you even have people up there that are in the millions of dollars that have committed suicide because they spend their life trying to make everybody else happy when inside they themselves are dying. Robin Williams is the biggest example.
Correct.
While he was dying inside, dealing with his own depression, his own bipolar, and all that stuff, he was going out making everybody else happy with videos, movies, and all that stuff, and the stand-up. And then he ends up going and doing what happened.
Correct. Okay, on to one of my pet peeves. I drive a lot. I drive all over Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. I've been across the United States. And the thing that drives me nuts are these people that go to Walmart, stand out on the corners of Walmart, holding a cardboard sign that says, "Please help, I'm homeless, and I need food."
And 99.9% of them are fake nowadays, which is weird. Because when you look at it, I was homeless. I didn't stand on the corner asking anybody for help. I literally slept on a park bench for 2 weeks until my grandma drove by in her car and said, "I'm going to come help them and give them a place to live for 2 years." That was the worst 2 years of my life. But carrying on with your stuff.
Yes. I saw this from my own. I saw this on my own several times. One of them was a gentleman who had his girlfriend, wife, child in a stroller, one sitting on the ground. Very nice clothes, nice stroller, everything. Saying his sign said, "I need money for food
and baby formula."
Baby formula. Okay, we're at Walmart, mind you. Okay, so they're standing out there as people are coming into the parking lot and going out. And they see these people and they feel sorry for them. You know, oh, let's give them a better day. Let's hand them some money. Okay. And I sat there and watched 3 vehicles give them money. A lot of them were $20 bills because the cost of formula is just it's skyrocketing price. It's out of hand.
We'll talk more about prices probably in another vlog.
Yep. And so, but I start on, to make the long story short,
all right,
I confronted the gentleman about it, and
we're trying to get everything
he got all defensive. Why are you worried about what I do?
Come in and hand me one of these.
And thought we were he was thirsty, so we had to have make sure we keep those people with his mouth to keep it moist so it wouldn't go dry from getting that money. But he took the money. He took the money, and I told him I was at Walmart. Please, and I was sitting out my car. I need money for formula. I went in to get some stuff in Walmart. I was sitting in my car watching this gentleman who was sitting on the corner there as you come in with his wife and child, and the sign says, "Need money for formula." And I'm like, okay, so I'm watching him. There's 3 vehicles, give him some money, and they all had nice clothes on, so my brain was saying, why don't you videotape this? So I did. And as I was videotaping, the gentleman saw me and asked me what I was doing. I said, "I'm videotaping you." He says, "Why?" I said, "Because you're in nice clothes, and yet you're holding a sign that needs formula." So after I confronted him, they got mad, picked up all their stuff, got into a van with a temporary Texas dealer plate on it, and instead of using that money, then 4 people give, which I know was about $40 to $50, to go to Walmart, get that formula they supposedly needed, they decided, oh, we hop in the van, they take off, they go up to the singer light, and they leave Walmart. Didn't even buy the formula. And these poor people that were, kind of wanting to help them because they're down on their luck or feeling sorry for them, no, they just wanted their money to spend it on whatever they wanted. And a lot of these people that do this, they don't need the money. It's an easier way to why get money from strangers for free? Well, I don't have to work for it. I can get it handed to me, and they're making $100 day by day. And the next thing you know, they're walking over, getting in their nice Mercedes and nicer cars and taking off and going home or riding a bicycle.
I mean, we've even seen it to the point where, and I'm not poking fun at any homeless people. I've been homeless. I've been there. I've been on that road, done that. Don't want to do it again.
And we do feel very sorry for those homeless because these type of people are taking advantage of the situation and making the real homeless people that really need it, taking advantage of them, and it makes them look bad to where people are second guessing themselves, should I give this person money? Are they going to use it for the right things? Or are they going to go get it and just blow it or go buy drugs or do whatever with the money and not take care of themselves or their family or their bills?
And it's hard on a lot of people, especially when you see all these homeless people out on the streets, living in freaking corners, living in alleyways, trying to stay out of the freaking elements. And then you have some of these guys that are sleeping under bridges, I've even seen people sleeping in dumpsters, okay, just so they can get off the cold ground.
Anywhere that they can find get off the cold ground, somewhere where they can get to try to stay warm, whether it's using newspapers, cardboard boxes laid out for beds, inside cardboard boxes. When I lived in California, I lived in Stockton, California, and when I went to go on the crosstown freeway to get to the other freeway, they have in this one section what they call Tent City, and it's all the homeless people that were able to get a tent from whatever money they were getting from people. They were getting food with it, and they were going and having a tent so they have a place to sleep. Do they want to be in that situation? No. And then everybody would say, well, why don't they get an education? Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Well, you don't know their stories. There may be a reason behind it. Maybe they don't have an education. Maybe they don't have the mental capacity to multitask.
Everything in this world now, especially in America, costs money.
In high school diploma or GED or better. If you're lucky, you may find someone that may give you a chance, but it's very rarely.
You gave me a chance.
Yep. Why? Because I listened to his stories. He was compassionate about his stories. Whenever I need help, he would help me. I don't have to say, hey, Matt, come help me. No, I'm going to lay on my lazy ass and do nothing. Enjoy taking advantage of you and getting your food and your drinks and you spending all your money on me for nothing. Well, like I told Matt, I said, I'll put a roof over your head, but you got to at least help me out to get you started. Once we get you on your feet, then you'll be okay. So I was nice enough to give him a roof over his head, feed him, buy him clothes, get him on the right track to get it onto his feet. And he's a great person. And
I try to be.
He works his tails off, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. He works his butt off. And people are like, well, how come you don't have a job? Well, he had a couple jobs. He put out applications all in our town of Scottsville, Kentucky. We're a small town. He went out, put applications in. And he got jobs within 2 places.
Got one at a gas station, but then I found one better. Then I got one at not Junior Fruit, but Smuckers, and then got ridiculed and bullied there
on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm. And I decided to say, nope, I quit. I'm out. Goodbye. And I'm here.
It was
videos for you guys.
The information was so bad on being bullied that the CEO of Smuckers fired the girl right on the spot. Didn't put up with it. He told her flat out,
"You're done.
Smuckers don't deal with bullies. You're out of here. Bye."
And you would think with me, it'd be like, okay, that's an opening for me to go back. It wasn't. Because the fact of the matter is, if she's doing it, odds are somebody else is going to do it. Someone's going to like that person, agree with that person, and go targeting me again. I've seen it happen many places. But you have other pet peeves here?
Yeah. Let me get on my next one. Whoo! People, as I was a truck driver, and even when I drive in my personal vehicles, my next pet peeves are people that have their feet on the dashboard, that have airbags that are right there below their feet. They got their feet out the window. And most of the time, it's ladies and women that I see where they take their foot and put it up on the driver's seat up against their crotch and have the window down. Those airbags put out so much pressure that if you have your feet up there, your face is going to eat your knees, and it's going to snap your legs and dislocate your hips or even break them. Those airbags are there to save lives, not to break legs, but to save your face.
And the fact is, we understand you're doing it because you're comfy, you like being cool, stuff like that. But when it comes to you getting into an accident and stuff, if you're laying flat like this, when that airbag comes out, you're going to be from this to that. You're going to be folded up like a freaking accordion. And you don't need that. I mean, we're not trying to sit here and poke fun at these people. We know people like to do it. It's just the fact of, if you guys get into an accident, you're going to get hurt if you do it. Anyone's going to get hurt in an accident. I got hurt in an accident, okay? I still have the scar up here to prove it. I was busted open from here all the way down through here. I mean,
this is what we're trying to do. We're not, like you said, we're not trying to poke fingers and everything. We're just trying to educate you. Okay, I was a certified EMT in California for 2 years. And I've seen stuff that would just blow people's minds. Mm-hmm. And the last thing that we want to see is somebody mangled up or even killed because they weren't doing the right thing by sitting properly in the seat with the seatbelts on. The people with your feet out the window, you don't know if a vehicle is going to lose control and crush your legs. You have bugs out there that can get impelled into your skin.
And you eventually get those people that come out and try to be funny, and they'll drive their bike over or their car over and tickle your foot. But the fact of the matter is, it's not worth trying to look cool doing that. I mean, but also the way I see it, I agree with him on this, but also I say everyone just has to learn to deal with the consequences.
Yes.
You stick your feet out the window, you get in a crash, you're screwed.
Correct. And not only would it be crushing your foot if it was a side impact, but you are also at an angle this way, and you get into a wreck, that airbag's going to tear you up. And for the person that has their foot up on the seat,
you're going to be kissing your kneecap.
Yeah.
That airbag pops out.
Well, you're driving one-footed, and sometimes there might be a situation where you may need both feet. and everything.
Like shoving your foot down on the brake, you have to brake real fast.
Yeah, it's just dangerous. That's all we're trying to say. We just don't like to see people mangled up in cars because they wanted to feel comfortable while they drive. Just be mindful when you're driving to be respectful of the vehicles and the people around you. But the problem is, you can't control what everybody does outside of your vehicle. Most time when you're driving, you're spending more time preparing for defensive driving because you're constantly looking around to see, oh my God, who's going to crash in front of me, or who's going to turn left in front of me, who's going to slam on the brakes in front of me.
I like that one person that when we were coming back from bingo that was going like this on the freaking road.
Yes, just side to side. We don't know if he was drunk. We didn't know if he was having a hard time seeing.
Well, he was constantly going over the center median and the freaking right median. I mean, geez,
all it took was somebody come over the center line as they go around the curve, thinking they're the only ones on the road because it's late at night, and bam, you got a head-on crash.
They got to have been toast, and probably we'd have been toast because we were close behind him.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. But please, for your safety, try to refrain from doing those because your family members don't want to see you busted up, laying in a hospital, and possibly going into a funeral to see you in a casket.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not trying to point fingers at anybody in particular. We're just trying to give you insight on what we've seen over the years. Me being an older person than him.
Sliding down this damn seat.
Yeah, and like I said, I've seen it all.
And your last pet peeve about smoking?
For those that like to smoke. Smoking.
Can I say one thing real quick about smoking?
Go ahead.
Before you do that. We understand the fact that once you're smoking, it's very, very, very hard to quit. Another thing, too, is when you're smoking, I'm just going to say this as a public service announcement, be responsible. Go.
Smoking. It's bad for your lungs, for one. But if you have children in your car and you are sitting there smoking, you are putting those harmful chemicals that you would like to enjoy yourself, you are giving it to your young child, which can lead up to all kinds of medical conditions down the road. Okay? There's been a big deal of the fight over cigarettes, who has rights, who doesn't, who wants, where can they use them, where they cannot. Several years ago, California passed a law, and everybody's going to think, well, that's stupid. We should be able to do what we want.
People should do what they want.
People in the California lawmakers made it a law. If you are driving on the public roads or highways and you are smoking a cigarette with a child in the car, you will be pulled over and cited for that violation. Is it right? Is it wrong? We don't know. But why subject your child, who's a defenseless child, to your smoking? If you want to do it, pull over, get out of your vehicle, smoke, get back in your vehicle, move on. Or if you're at home and you got a child living in your home, just like we do, a year and a 5-month-old, if you need to smoke, go outside. Go away from the child so that they don't get it. It's easy as stepping out the front door and taking a few puffs or whatever you need and then come back in. Versus you sitting on the couch because I don't want to get off the couch. I'm going to blow my cigarettes around and let the smoke fly and have it infect your child. So once again, like I said, we're not trying to point fingers. We're just trying to educate. You might get ticked off at us. Like I said, this is our opinions.
And everyone's entitled to their
And everybody's entitled to opinions. That's why we live in America.
The land of the free and
the land of the free and home of the brave. But please, just be respectful of your child and anybody around you, because not everybody's smokers. And there are people that are allergic to smokers, like I am. Smoking, if I'm around a person that's smoking cigarettes, I'm hacking, coughing, sneezing for at least 3 days. That's why if anybody was to get my vehicle and they say, hey, where's that lighter? I want to push it in so I can get my cigarette going.
Shit.
Sorry.
Okay.
Don't have it because I don't smoke.
Don't rock backward too far in a chair that has wheels.
Correct. Or you'll go for a ride just like this guy did.
Almost did.
Okay.
The next is my biggest pet peeve, and I think one of his biggest ones. And it's seen all over YouTube. You can look it up on YouTube and everything else. Is the stolen valor bullshit. Stolen valor is just basically folks going around, parading around in suits that he told me a while back that they can buy from a military surplus store, put these things on, put these logos on, put their names on, and walk around like, hey, I'm military, I'm going to get all this stuff. Well, here's the thing, okay? When you walk around, you're making fun of the people that have fought for this country, that have died for this country, and then also, here's another big pet peeve that I'm also going to add to this right here, the stolen frickin' valor stuff, is the people that will stand on American flags, that will stand on Confederate flags, and disrespect them both.
And kneel on the American flags and burn them.
I've seen that too. But here's the thing. When you commit this stolen valor, you're making fun of people like this guy right here. Care to tell them your story?
Yes. In 1992 to 1995, I served in the U.S. Army for 3 years. My job was a infantry person, which is 11 Bravo, ground soldier. My secondary was 11 Charlie, which is 81 millimeter mortars, and they have different classifications on guns that you use, but mine happened to be the 81. And
I think a bug just crawled my nose.
To verify I'm telling the truth, this is my, whoops, get this right. There's my Class A from when I was in the military. Here is my certification, shows that I graduated from boot camp. And this one here is my discharge papers. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong one.
The honorable discharge.
The honorable discharge, if you don't get in trouble. And when I say 11 Charlie Mortarman, this was my job.
Yeah, the other small photo right there, you in your Class A.
And this one here, if anybody can get these, you can get BDUs at a surplus store. Why do people do this? To make
themselves
look good.
Between look good and make themselves feel like I guess better than what they actually are.
Right. It's just to boost their self-esteem to say, look, I was in the military. But yet, they weren't. And this goes on across the United States. If you don't think this happens, just go to YouTube.
Type in Stolen Valor and then there you go.
YouTube.com. Stolen Valor. And you will see the videos that the public have put up of people in the armed forces versus the ones that haven't. And the ones that haven't, a lot of them you could pick out by the way they have their some of the ribbons, some of the stuff that's on their Class A stuff, some of it on their dress blue outfits. They're always going to have something wrong with them because they're trying to figure out how to make it so real that they were in the military. The only way you're going to get it right is if you were in the military. And from him and I, we want to say thank you to the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and the Coast Guard. Those are all of them are our troops, and we thank you for your service and your sacrifice to keep America free and to where we can have freedom to do what we want.
To speak out our opinions, plus also I'm going to send out this thank you as well to your EMTs, your first responders, firefighters, paramedics, police officers. Thank you for doing what you do. And it's just like as the song in Five Finger Death Punch, one of my favorite metal bands, is Blue on Black. It's a good song. You need to go look it up.
YouTube.com.
Plug. But no, Blue on Black mentions nothing can bring you back in this world except those people. We need to give credit where it's due, not into the hands of fate. Doctors are the ones that bring you back. Paramedics are the ones that keep you alive to get to those doctors. Police officers are the ones that try to help you stay alive if you're in a predicament where there's either a gunman, where there could be multiple gunmen, where there could be a man abusing a woman, a woman abusing a man, or a person abusing a child, or someone getting raped. You have to respect those people for coming into your lives and saving your butts. But I'm not going to get on the topic of the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, because that, to me, is just disrespectful all in all, even to people like me, who have every ounce of respect for the military. So, but as we're talking about the military, this is the last thing we wanted to touch on was military versus the government. And basically, in my book, these are my views. He's going to speak his views after I'm done. The way I see it, the government needs to start paying the military like sports teams pay their players. Because I'm sorry, you can get as much money as you want for throwing a football down a field, for kicking a ball down into a goal, for smacking a ball with a stick, or doing anything like that, kicking a puck or whatever. They make millions of dollars just on that. For football, you play 16 games, make multi-million dollars. You break your leg, and it makes you out for the season. You get paid for doing nothing except sitting on your ass.
You can injure your toe and not be able to play for a while.
Broken toe, you're out for 5 weeks probably.
Military person, they would bandage it up, tell you to suck it up and move on.
I've seen military people get shot in the arm, shot in the gut, and all that stuff. They spend maybe 2 weeks in a hospital, and then they're like, "All right, well, you're good to go. You're getting back out there in the field."
It's like me when I was in my first duty station was Berlin, Germany, and during the wintertime, I was carrying big, huge boxes going over to the motor pool where we keep all of our Humvees and our equipment over there, and I had got to the end of the curb, and when I went to step off onto the ground, I stepped on a patch of hard ice. With my right foot, I thought it was good enough for me to proceed on. When I put my left foot down, my feet went underneath me. I went airborne, come down, and landed on my lower back.
Here's his back, here's the curb, right there.
Yeah. And the part that where you start to bend back, oops, excuse me, that way. Ooh. Sorry, it's our angle. When that point right there, when you start to do where you can do this, I slammed into the curb and snapped backwards and hit my head, my shoulders, my chest, my back, everything onto that sidewalk.
My back not getting the rest of that.
There was a lieutenant that saw me come over and pick me up, got me off the ground. I went over to the medic unit, walked in, signed in. They checked me out. They lifted my shirt, said, "Sullivan, yeah, it's a little red, a little swollen. Here's Motrin. Be on light duty for 3 days. Have a great day. Get out our doors." Pow! And what did I do? I wound up having to work in the mail room, do CQ duty. By Monday, I was back at full duty. What would have happened if another sports person done that?
A sports person going into the military? I'm sorry, but the sports person will go back and take their cushy job any day of the week. Because you also have these people.
Not all of them.
True, not all of them.
There was Tillman.
Yeah. But, yeah, there definitely was Tillman. I will mention that guy out there. Thank you very much.
Craig Morgan.
Yep.
Country singer.
But here's the big ordeal about going into the military, okay? And the funding for the military. Soldiers, privates, E1 through E6 make maybe $20,000 a year. That is $1,816 a month for 12 months. Football player goes out.
P3, private first class.
A football person goes out, plays one game. That's 4 games a month. You know how much they make a month? Depending on their price, like the one quarterback, Matthew Stafford, $160 million for 4 years. That is $40 million a year. That is $2,250,000 a month. When all a soldier's getting is close to $2,000 a month. We're going out, nearly getting shot, nearly getting killed, going out busting their backs, breaking their asses, doing everything that they have to keep us free, to keep us safe, and then they come home and expect, heroes welcome like those soldiers that went over to Vietnam. They got spit on, they got shit on, everything else. Now we're starting to thank them for what they did, but it's too little too late in my book.
Yeah. Why do we have to wait until it's now to thank the World War IIs, the Korean Wars, and all of our wars prior to what we have now? Why did it take so long for them to start thanking them? And I'll tell you right now, the pay when I was in from 1992 to 95, my highest pay I got was $850 a month. Today's military, you're looking maybe between $1,200 and $1,400. For those that are in the military that are going to be watching this video, feel free to update us on what the current pay is.
Exactly. We'd like to know. But also, I will state this, and this man does deserve this respect. One day, we were going to Tennessee, coming back from Nashville. We stopped at Arby's to get something to eat, and we met a gentleman, 93 years old, World War II vet. World War II, 93, was walking perfectly like him and I. No cane, no. Actually, I think he was walking better than both you and I.
Exactly, especially with my injuries.
No cane, no nothing, just moseying on out like nothing happened. Like, I'm sitting there going. And here's the thing, too, I found out from him as well. He was in D-Day.
Damn. See, I didn't know this because I had already started out to the truck to get in to go bye-bye. And he had mentioned this to me as he came to the truck. And, and I'm like, okay, what's this guy, what's he look like, so forth. I look over there, and he's walking like there's like no tomorrow. He's just walking casually and saying, do, off to my vehicle. Now, not to pick on or point fingers or belittle elderly people, but for his age, most people would be in a wheel cane, using a cane, a wheelchair,
or a push,
or a little push walker.
Yeah, walk. That's their walk.
Not this guy.
My brain farted. Sorry.
He's walking upright and walking with a purpose. Looked like he was in his 50s. I would have never guessed he was in his 90s. Till Matt said something.
Okay, this is the one thing I do. Everywhere I've gone, when I was working, I always thank veterans. No matter what I did, every time I saw a veteran, I walked up and thanked them. Yep. This guy, I walked up and thanked. He heard me thank him, but that was all he could hear because he was on his way to the truck.
And my hearing is pretty bad.
And
from
the guy literally looks up at me and goes, well, thank you. He shook my hand and goes, I was a World War II vet. I'm like,
we did the calculations in the truck. You will be shocked at what age this gentleman started in the military.
16.
That's right. He just mentioned it. 16 years old.
And he went into the military.
Can you imagine what you were doing at 16?
I know what I was doing, but it involved too many paper towels.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I just had to put that in there.
The reason why he said that, what's your age, Matt?
I'm 26 now.
My age is 45 currently. Going to be 46 this year. So, yeah. He was still wiping his butt when we were getting older. But I can't say nothing. I wasn't born until 73, so.
And it's just also, it took me getting to know this guy to honestly, in my book, and I will say this right in front of you and in front of everybody watching this video, in my book, that I found a father figure. And that's hard for me to say. Because this guy has put up with all my pain, all my torture, every little thing I've taught about him when I was depressed. And he turned around and told me, "You've done nothing wrong." That is what depressed people want to hear. They don't want to hear, well, you can do this to fix yourself, you can do that to fix yourself, or you can take this drug. No. You've done nothing wrong in your life to deserve what you got. Like me, I was on a Greyhound bus 14 times. I did the calculations in 8 years. And those of you who don't know what that is, that's 8 in sign language. I studied ASL for a year because I lived with a deaf family for a year. And here's the fact of deaf families, not all of them are great. I lived with a piece of shit family. But I still learned ASL. Not fully to the point where I can speak fluently and blah, 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 but enough to where I know certain things. But also, it's just the fact of the government needs to step up and say, you know what? One thing. Healthcare, kill it. Take everything away and give people free healthcare to the point where we can become healthy. Nothing is worth more than the value of a human life. Not a dollar, not anything that Donald Trump or any president can tell you. Nothing is worth more than a human life. If you are out there right now and you are struggling with depression, hear these words. You are not alone.
And that goes for military personnel as well.
Exactly.
It's never an age deal of why you have depression. You shouldn't say, well, I feel this way. I don't need help. Everybody out there can have depression.
And struggle with it in their own way.
When I went to the VA in Nashville, Tennessee to see a mental health therapist, he told me that almost 86% of the people in the United States fight with the battle of depression. If you have depression and you know it, don't be afraid to go see a counselor. I was at first, but then I got to thinking, what could it hurt? I could sit home and be miserable, let my mind get to the point let's shoot myself in the head, might hang myself, commit suicide.
It ain't worth it.
It's not worth it. You can find a good friend to lean on. If you have a great friend, and that person is to be able to listen to what you're saying and help you out, and not say, oh, well, hey, everybody hear about Matt? He's this. No.
Exactly.
If you're willing to listen, they're willing to talk about it. And if you want some great stories about military people and future, for people currently, for those that have been a military person, go to your veteran affairs locations. Go to them. Go inside. You don't even have to say, hey, I'm not a military. Go inside.
Should I mention what happened to me at the VA, though?
1 second. Because I took this gentleman to the VA that I go to in Nashville, Tennessee, and while I was waiting for my mental health therapist, and when I went in, he sat in the lobby next to the rest of them and was listening to all their stories. They have a lot of great stories. Those veterans can tell you great stories. Some of them could be horrible stories. Some of them can be great stories. And there could be even some sad stories. But if you want a great laugh, and this is not pointing fingers at the certain military that he's going to talk about, it's just the fact that this person was picked on by a supposedly Marine military police officer. I'll let you tell his story. Take it away, Matt.
When we were at the VA, as he just pointed out, there was a woman sitting across me. I decided to call my mom, okay? And people around us didn't care that I was on the phone with my mom, talking to my mom about my depression, talking about what was going on in my life. This woman was constantly speaking to the man sitting next to her. The man didn't give a shit at all. He was staring at his phone texting.
Watching him on. You can see her, and he's like, okay.
Or like freaking Charlie Brown, there's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. But she said, because I was talking about depression, she looks at me and goes, you know, if I was in your shoes, I would just go off and kill myself.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there, and this guy from the Navy, walks around the corner, looks at her, and says, hey, what part of the military are you in? She goes, I was in the Marines. How many years? And I was in there for about 3 or 4. And the guy looks at her, gives me a little look, then looks at her and goes, you know what Marine stands for? My ass rides in Navy equipment, sir.
Which, if you really think about it, it is true. A lot of the Marines ride on Navy equipment, a.k.a. ships, helicopters,
U-boats, and stuff like that.
You name it, the Navy helps the Marines with it.
And I was looking at this guy like, did he really just defend me like that? And he just gave me a subtle little nod. And I sat there, and I had to hold my breath the whole time he's in there, yakking with his counselor. I'm sitting out there going,
good thing the air pressure didn't go to your butt and you farted.
I was sitting there. The moment I got up, we got in the elevator, I told him that story, and we laughed all the way down to where our truck was parked and all the way out to the truck. And it's just like, I sat there, and I still think of it to this day, and I thank that guy. From the bottom of my heart, I thank him for standing up for me like that.
Yep. In a way, she was being a bully, and this gentleman stood up to him.
But when she told me to kill myself, the guy that was texting on his phone was like,
whoa, girl, you better check yourself. I don't know why you'd be telling him that, especially being in a VA mental
health area. It's like, what the...
Wow.
It's like, what the hell?
Just so she can get some pills to help herself, I hope.
She said she goes in every 6 months only because she's allowed to get any pill that she asks for.
Great. Another government for you. But just for your knowledge, I looked this up the other day. The government, presidents, higher-ups, make 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're done with their term, it stays with them, and off they go with their money. Mm-hmm. They're getting $500,000, $600,000, $400,000, while our troops who are out there on the front lines, getting shot at, hand grenades thrown at them, rocket-propelled grenades at them, IEDs, getting killed, limbs blown off. We think alike here, as you can tell. But yet, we only get paid
a little
$1,200.
Between $1,200 to $1,800, basically.
Yeah. I missed Desert Storm by, that much. Which would be even closer when you got done with basic training. But
he was basically a butt squeak away from going to Desert Storm.
Correct.
If I farted right now, bang, he's in there.
You know what? But if they was to send me there, I would have went. No problem. Because we were there to do a job. And our job is to defend our country.
Basically.
What we want to give to everybody out there is that we wish the military, veterans, active duty, reserves, National Guard will get a whole lot bigger pay so they can take care of themselves and also take care of their families. And for those that have sacrificed their lives for our freedom, our hearts, our condolences go out to all those families that have lost loved ones to keep us free.
Exactly. But for now, I think we're going to end this on that note. Once again, all this video is about is just have respect for yourself and respect for those around you. And once again, if you like this video, if you agree with our statements, even if you don't agree, leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you do like the video. And we'll be sure to get back to you on your comments because we don't have that many subscribers right now. So
yes, please like his videos.
I almost fell over again.
Click subscribe. And everyone out there, God bless and have a great life. Bye now.